Bitcoin going up and then crashing back to 40,000 one day. And there we are today. And I think it's an excellent question about the volatility, because Bitcoin is so volatile, it gets attacked for that attribute. But with the volatility comes the return. Experienced investors know that there cannot be return without volatility. But I've seen it personally with the stock to flow model and with Bitcoin now 3 times up and 3 times down, that when Bitcoin is up very much, everybody wants to buy it. Stock to flow model and plan B is the man, the myth, the legend. But when it's down and where we are today, and we experienced that in March 2020 with the COVID, when COVID first hit us, but also in March 2019, when I published the article, we were really very much down. Then it's all Bitcoin is dead and it's a bear market. It will go to zero. It seems like a black or white thing, and investors and people in general seem to forget that it's just volatility. And the overall trend, if you, for example, look at the 200-week moving average, the 4-year moving average, the overall trend is going up and never goes down. I guess it's a question of perspective. So to try to predict or evaluate Bitcoin is a very, it must be a very rough estimation. And you're right, the stock to flow model is very rough. So stock to flow is basically saying that if an asset is scarcer, it should be more valuable. Well, how do you quantify scarcity? There is a known measure, that's the stock to flow measure. It's the number of years it takes for a reserve in a certain asset to replenish that reserve. So for gold, there is 60 years of production above ground stock. And so the stock to flow ratio is 60. So the scarcer an asset, the higher the stock to flow ratio, the higher the value of that market should be. And it's a very principle-based, very intuitive thing that scarce things are more valuable. And this model very roughly, very simply as well, because it doesn't use any other input variables, any other factors to value the Bitcoin. It uses that same scarcity to value Bitcoin. So it's very rough. It's very not precise, and I guess it would not be very usable for trading. More than investing. So it's really a very rough compass, if you will, for investors.
What do you think Bitcoin has been unable to sustain its momentum over the past 6 months?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about manipulation, about the futures ETF coming alive with all the possible manipulation around that. There's a lot of speculation about central banks pushing the price down, much like in the gold market. But I think it's much simpler than that. We saw a China miners ban halfway last year, and that wiped out half of the hash rate, half of the security of the network. That was a major thing, major structural event, macro event, you might call it even for Bitcoiners. But that wiped out half of the hash rate, and all the miners had to move and relocate their stuff to the countries around China and to America, Texas mainly. So that was the number one reason, very obvious, very clear, to impact the price of Bitcoin. And obviously, a lot of tech stocks are going down. The S&P goes down, and a lot of other assets go down because there is a risk of interest rate rise, and the Fed has, spoken about tapering, about cutting back on the quantitative easing. That helped any asset increase in value, if it was real estate or stocks or Bitcoin. So if they would stop, if the central banks would stop the quantitative easing, the money printing, that would certainly impact assets, as would rising interest rates, of course, influence the asset valuations negatively. But that's clearly what's going on right now. And by the way, I think they're just talking the talk and not walking the walk. They normally try to push asset prices down, the central banks, by just mentioning rate hikes. And I don't know if they're really prepared to go all the way and crash the stock market, for example. In my experience, they won't run that risk, but it will be a very interesting couple of months, and that's, I guess, the main topic right now. And a lot of tech stocks are being hammered as we speak.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.